Chairman Greenspan stated in his most recent Humphrey Hawkins testimony that at some point the FOMC might elect to put more weight on monetary aggregates.
Sure.
And I was just wondering, first of all, do you feel that the Fed places enough value on money supply currently?
Well, there was a period, as Greenspan stated in one of his earlier testimonies, there was a period when the velocity of M2 was going up very sharply, although historically it had been extremely stable. And that was the period in the 90s when M2 was growing very slowly, precisely to offset that rapid increase in velocity. But the velocity of M2 seems to have stabilized, and so I think it would be, I would be in favor of putting a great deal of emphasis on M2.
Okay.
In fact, I believe the only function that the Federal Reserve really has is to keep M2 growing slowly. But what they do, I'm not privy to their inside secrets, and I wouldn't try to guess.
No, is it financial innovation that has put a dent in the correlation between M2 and GDP?
The correlation between M2 and GDP has always been a very loose one.
Okay.
Never been extremely tight. And M2 is a right thing to look at from a long-run point of view. It cannot be used for short-term moves. Go back to the 1980s. The elimination of the prohibition of interest on demand deposits, permitting interest to be paid on demand deposits, completely screwed up the relation of M1 and anything else.
Right.
But M2 retained its relationship. And then in the 90s, you had this period of increasing velocity which coincided with the rapid growth of the mutual bond and stock. And it seems very likely, although I'm not certain it's been established, it seems very likely that that was a major reason for the rise in the velocity of M2.
Should M2 be adjusted to account for flows into
I do not believe so. There's some argument for using M3 instead of M2, but I don't believe you ought to include